Brothers and sisters, I hope you are continuing to find peace and comfort in drawing near to Jesus in these times of COVID-19. As a nation, we are continuing to track very well with regards to new infections of the virus, and that has enabled us to ease many of the restrictions that we've all been under in this time. You have likely heard that as of Monday, the limit for religious gatherings has been raised to 50 people. No doubt that's scary news for some, very exciting news for others, and more of us stand somewhere in between that. Of course, prior to COVID-19, all of our congregations here at Blacktown Anglican were above that number. And so, while it is good news, we are still a long way off from church returning to any sense of being normal. The staff here have spent much time over the last few months planning for the future and thinking through the various steps that we all need to take. And as hard as it was for us to cease meeting in the building all the way back in March, and as challenging as it was for us to transition so quickly to doing church online together, returning to the building will likely be a much greater challenge. In a post-COVID-19 world, strict hygiene practices and physical distancing will become the norm for some time to come. And there is a lot of regular cleaning that needs to happen. And for as long as the 4 square metre per person rule continues to be applied for indoor spaces, our building will continue to limit us to about 50 people, even if the raw number for religious gatherings is increased beyond that. So given such challenges, we expect that church online, as we've been doing, will continue to be the main way that most of us engage with Sunday services for quite some time to come. Now, with this in mind, we are very aware that as a church, church online has not always been easily accessible for everyone, and especially for those who are less confident with technology. Therefore, while we can't return to normal as a church, we are really keen to help those who are most affected and most disconnected from church life. Which means also they're probably the kind of people who are less likely to see this message. And so while we endeavour to get in touch with them, that we're aware of, we'd also love you to pass this information on to anyone you might know who would benefit from it. So what's happening? Well, from Sunday the 14th of June, we'll be hosting a single gathering in our church building at 9 a.m. This will primarily be for those people who are not able to engage in church online from their own home and who are not able to meet at someone else's home for fellowship with them while watching together. This gathering won't be a separate service. It will simply be a place for people who wish to watch church online together, who otherwise are not able to do so. Perhaps most sadly in this, one of the present restrictions required for this gathering to happen is that we've been told we are not allowed to sing in the building. So if you love singing along in our services, then you'll have to continue enjoying that from home. And so therefore our first recommendation is this. If you do know someone who is isolated at home, either watching church online by themselves or not at all, please consider inviting them to join you at your home, to engage in church together and enjoy fellowship. Now, if this is not possible, and you or someone you know would like to join us in the church building on the 14th of June, then please, you will need to contact the office. We need to strictly manage our numbers in attendance, and so we don't want to turn anyone away. And so we'd love for you to be able to join us if that would be of benefit to you, and we need you to let us know first. We anticipate that church online, whether that's in our homes or in a limited way in our own church building, that this will continue to be the primary way for all of us as a church family to engage with Sunday services for the coming months ahead. It's also worth noting that in the coming weeks, community groups may well be able to start meeting again face-to-face in person. And if your group feels safe and comfortable to do so, I'm sure it'll be greatly appreciated by the members of your group. There will be a limited opportunity to use the church building here for community groups to gather together, and especially for those who don't otherwise have a suitable space to meet in a home. So what will happen beyond this first step together? Well, we know that some of you will be really keen to return to the building as soon as possible. And others of you will be understandably more reluctant and happy to wait until things settle down a bit further and become a little bit more normal. What we do know is that for the foreseeable future, even if we do return to the building, it will certainly not be an experience like we have been used to in the past. Our staff have been working through the various measures that will allow us to gather physically, safely and legally, and to enjoy fellowship together in this medium term. But we don't expect that this will include restarting the 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock or 1 p.m. services anytime soon. Rather, it will likely be a number of simpler gatherings in a modified form, and you can expect to hear more news on what these services are likely to involve in the months ahead as that time comes closer. While regular Sunday service gatherings are still some time away, we are hoping to create space for other forms of gatherings that might be more manageable in size, such as future prayer gatherings, Discover Jesus courses, other opportunities for Bible teaching and training, and a new marriage course we're hoping to launch later this year. We also hope there will be many more opportunities to gather in smaller communities as expressions of the larger community of which we are a part as a church. Gathering together physically is a wonderful privilege and blessing for God's people, but it's also far from the only way for us to partner together and participate in the mission of Jesus. We continue to pursue the mission of our church, to grow people who know Jesus, who treasure Jesus, who depend on Jesus and represent Jesus. And we can do this regardless of our ability to meet physically in person. Our hope and prayer as a staff team is that this season of church life will only serve to enhance the way that our physical gatherings reflect and are shaped by the mission of our church. Finally, let me encourage you to continue to draw near to Jesus, to be regular in listening to his word, to be prayerfully dependent, and to grow in the way that you represent Jesus, whether in your home, to your neighbours, with your work colleagues, and whoever else you might see. Jesus provides a sure and certain hope for the future that is needed more than ever in these uncertain times. Let us continue to seek the flourishing of our city in God's good design through our Jesus-shaped community. Brothers and sisters, I look forward to again seeing you soon in the near future. Take care and God bless.